How many times have you started a diet, lost some weight, and then put the weight right back on? If you're watching this video, I'd be willing to bet it's more than a couple. Now, the good news is that you aren't alone in this, and most people who have successfully transformed their physique, burned body fat, and kept it off for good have gone through a very similar cycle. In fact, almost all of the people that I've coached one-on-one and helped them transform their physique went through this as well. And what I've learned in this process is that most people share 3 common habits that are ruining their metabolism and preventing them from losing body fat for good. So in this video, I'm going to share those 3 habits with you and what you need to do to break them so you can transform your physique, increase your metabolism, and keep body fat off for good. So habit number 1 that you're most likely doing that's ruining your metabolism and keeping you from burning body fat for good is that you're snacking on highly processed, low protein snacks throughout the day. Whether you're at the office all day snacking while you work, or grabbing something quick between meetings, or even in transit moving from one place to another, you're just grabbing quick and easy snacks that are highly processed and low in protein. Now, these snacks in and of themselves aren't actually ruining your metabolism, but what's happening when you eat these snacks to satisfy your hunger quickly rather than picking something that has more protein, or preferably eating an entire meal, is that you end up very low on your protein goal throughout the day, and you also are very hungry at the end of the day, so you end up binge eating later in the day. And on top of the overeating at the end of the day, you're also under eating on your protein goal. And protein is essential to help you build muscle tissue, and muscle tissue is metabolically active. So the more muscle tissue you have, the higher your resting metabolism is going to be. And protein also has the highest thermic effect of food, meaning your body burns more calories digesting protein than any other macronutrient. So what do you do to fix this? Well, the answer is actually quite simple, and you probably already know the answer. You either need to start eating more real meals throughout the day that are balanced in all 3 macronutrients, so protein, carbs, and fats, or if you're absolutely too busy and that isn't an option for you, you need to start bringing protein powder, protein shakes, or protein bars to work with you or wherever you're going to make sure that what you're snacking on is high in protein, so that way you're actually going to be able to hit your daily protein goal. Now, if you don't know how much protein to eat, a very simple rule of thumb is to just take your ideal body weight and eat at least 1 gram of protein per that ideal body weight. So if you're currently 200 pounds and you want to get down to 180 pounds, eat 180 grams of protein every day. Now, the second habit that you're probably doing that's been ruining your metabolism every time you try to lose body fat is intensely restricting your calories. And you may not even be doing this intentionally. Maybe you are. But what ends up happening most times when people start a diet, whether it's the carnivore diet, keto diet, they do Atkins, low carb, whatever it might be, they aren't actually aware of their total calorie intake. And what ends up happening is they go way deep into a calorie deficit, far more than what's actually needed for you to burn fat. And so you lose a lot of weight really quickly, but then you hit that plateau. And then this plateau seems almost impossible to break. No matter how hard you try, you just can't seem to get past that stuck point, and you end up giving up and going right back to your old habits. I've coached so many people who have done this. I personally did it myself when I first started the journey. And if you want to fix this, what you actually need to do is, before you start your deficit, before you go into this fat loss phase, you first need to get a gauge of how many calories you're actually eating in a day and what your weight is doing. So that way, you know, okay, I've been pretty much maintaining my weight at, let's say, 200 pounds, and I've been eating 2,700 calories a day on average. Now you go into a 500 calorie deficit, so you can decrease some carbs, you decrease some fats, keep your protein at that 1 gram of protein per ideal body weight. You don't want to go any lower than that. So you're going to decrease your carbs, decrease your fats until you're at 500 calories less than what you've been maintaining at. This is going to be the key to dropping body fat at a sustainable rate without hitting that big plateau. And the third habit that's ruining your metabolism and preventing you from losing body fat for good is relying on calorie burning workouts for a majority of your training. So what I've noticed with a lot of the people that I work with is they're in one of 2 boats. One is that they're focused more on cardio, and a lot of their time training is spent on the treadmill, the Stairmaster, or the spin bike. Or they fall in the category of doing high rep toning exercises where they're training in the 15 to 30 rep range, doing lots of reps, hoping to tone the muscle. Now, the problem with both of these, whether we're talking about cardio-based workouts or very high rep toning types of workouts, is that you're going to lose muscle tissue when you're in a calorie deficit in doing this. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Your body will use muscle tissue as fuel. So what ends up happening is as you burn that muscle tissue, like I said earlier, muscle tissue is metabolically active. So your resting metabolism starts to decrease as you continue to go further into the deficit and do more cardio sessions or continue to just do very high rep training sessions. So what you need to do if you actually want to keep your metabolism as high as possible and burn fat, not only in the short term, but also sustainably, is to focus your training on hypertrophy style workouts. So this means workouts that are going to build muscle tissue. A general rule of thumb for this is that you're going to be doing 9 to 15 working sets per muscle group per week, and you're going to be lifting within the 6 to 15 rep range during each of those sets. And in those sets, whether you're going to 6 reps or 15 reps, you should be leaving no more than 1 to 3 reps left in the tank on each of those exercises. This is how you're going to actually build muscle, or at the very least sustain muscle tissue while you're in a calorie deficit. And this is going to keep your resting metabolism as high as possible so you can not only burn fat efficiently, but actually keep it off for good. So if you change those 3 habits and make the adjustments that I shared with you in this video, I promise your resting metabolism will increase and you will be able to burn fat more efficiently and sustainably. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I've also been working on something very cool behind the scenes that's going to be ready to launch very soon, and I'm very excited to share it with you guys. It's going to be a full course teaching you exactly step by step what you need to do to go through each different dieting phase, whether it's a fat loss phase, reverse dieting phase, a muscle building phase. There's also going to be a community, so it's going to be a bunch of like-minded individuals all pursuing their goals, and I'm going to be hosting weekly live trainings in there. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm working as hard as I can to get it done as soon as possible. So be sure to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.